Good morning. How are you doing? Look, it's Louise here, and I just want to talk to you a little bit on, I suppose, a follow-on with everything else that's been going on around the world globally, interdimensional ways, etc. When we look at what's happening around us, there are various ebbs and flows of energy. We've noticed that there are big highs, that there's big lows, that there are more and more people seemingly coming to an awakeness, coming to a sense of being, that there's something else out there. There's a lot more searches being engineered by people that are looking for specific things on being awake. What's going on? Aliens, New World Order, the Illuminati. Now, these are all old names, but there are new searches being done by people that have never searched for them before. What's happening? What is going on? Now, a lot of us out there will go, oh, it's because people are waking up. Oh, it's because there's an awareness happening. The shifts are happening. Exactly. But what are these shifts and why? Why are they happening to such a degree where people are beginning to seek further and further into the psyche of themselves, into the soul, into the spirit of who they are? What's going on more in today, into this moment, than that's ever happened before? Not even in 2012 was there so much activity happening. So let's ask ourselves a few questions. Is it, as some dogma would say to us, the end of the world is coming? Is it the global collapse that's been foretold for many, many years? Why are the governments of USA, Germany, England, Russia, just to name a few, indicating to the world or to their particular groups of people, there's going to be a problem within the next 120 days? We're taking stock by saying, Russia, to the people of Russia, come home, come back to the motherland. Germany is saying, be prepared, have food for a minimum of 10 days in your house at all times in the near future. America is saying that they're going to be, they're putting in federal government laws to action over the for what they call in space weather effects that are going to be for the next 120 days. That's 3 months. What's going on, people? Now, a lot of us will go, oh, let's look at this, the cards. Let's do a tarot reading. Let's seek the energies. Let's go into the astrological events and see what's happening in a planetary sort of alignment. But we need to go further than that. We need to actually go into the very core of who we are as individuals. Yes, there is a time and place to go into the world of energy. I'm the first one to admit that. I mean, as a channel, I will always go to the Ascended Masters that I deal with, but they always point me back to me. What do I recognize? What do I see? And so with this in mind, I am asking all of us that align with the light worker title or label, or the energy holders, or the lighthouse, whatever name you or label you identify with at this time. What's happening here that's creating a vibrational shift that is having a resonant effect on our planet, on our global effect, thus on a universal effect? What changes are happening here within us? Not just us as light workers, but us as a human race. What's happening? And I believe when we go into that place, we will begin to see very definite changes. What those changes are will narrow down and be unique to each individual that does this, but we will find similarities. And I believe one of the biggest similarities is that we're becoming self-responsible. Self-mastery is starting to take hold. Now, this is a message that has been brought through, I know, through ourselves and Ascension Explorers, oh goodness, for at least 3 to 4 years. Since 2012, we've been bringing this message of integration, of aspect integration, of return to sovereign self, of self-mastery, all of these things. And it is amazing how all of a sudden we are seeing things pop up all around the world, within New Zealand and Australia and everywhere else. Similar teachings now beginning to be on the up and coming, or the okay thing to talk about. But you see, it doesn't matter who brought it through first. What matters is that we need to be self-mastered within ourselves. We need to have the awareness of knowing who we are, of why we're here, what our purpose, what our journey is. We need to understand that each one of us is a piece of the puzzle. We are a puzzle within ourselves that we complete and we become whole, and we know beyond a shadow of a doubt we are entirely complete, not needing others to feed into us or give us something, because we are complete. Yes, they can complement us and complement our journey, just in the same way that as we are the piece of the puzzle in the whole picture is complete with us in it. We don't add to it, we don't subtract it, we are the complete picture. And that is something that we've been taught about recently in the Tuesday groups that we host, and that is the singularity. There is a singularity coming at this moment. What is the singularity? How do we access it? What is going on? And again, each time this message comes to us, it is, we have to come from here. We have to go back into who we are. Now, the amazing thing is, when we start revisiting who we are and we go into the very depths of our individual being, we suddenly begin to see parts of us that we no longer need, that don't serve us anymore. And we're able to step out of that. We're able to either integrate or release. Now, this is not a release where we ignore something, where we're pushing it away from us. This release is acknowledging that what has been for a purpose. It served its purpose. Its job is done, and we can step out of that placement, out of that way of life, out of that way of being. Think of it this way. Karma. Karma, for many hundreds and thousands of years, has brought humanity to a place of recognition that whatever happens, there is a cause and effect. So if I do this here, somewhere along in the great future, something's going to happen and smack me to get me to recognize what I did over here was wrong. Yet, we are now in a time, in a cyclic motion of being self-responsible, self-mastery. And so every decision, every word, every action, everything that we do now has an immediate cause and effect. It's not going to wait for us to come 3 lifetimes before we experience what we have experienced now and activated now. No, it's as simple as this. If I reach out and I slap somebody, there is an immediate response. And in that immediate response, I have the choice to be responsible enough to look at my actions and say, the reason for it was da-da-da-da-da-da, and come to an immediate conclusion and healing part. Or I can choose immediately to be in denial and say, oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. No, it's not me. And I resist what was going on in that moment. Now, if I resist, I'm not in self-mastery. I'm still in the karmic way of thinking, the karmic way of being. And that in itself is a whole teaching all on its own. But to get back as to what's happening in our world, why are the messages coming through at the moment of great change, great evolvement? Why are there more and more messages coming of the separation of the worlds, of where there will be one world that is here and one world that is here, the new earth, etc., etc.? How separate are they going to be, and how conjoined are they going to be? Now, my personal understanding, my personal belief, and this is not something that I'm going to stick a sword in the sand and say, this is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, but it's what I am perceiving at the moment. And it's what I believe can possibly come to a truth. That our two worlds, the world of, let us use the label darkness, and the world of, let us use the label light, will live concurrently in the present planet Earth that we have now. Whereas you will have, shall we say, the government, Illuminati, one world order world that has been projected out now as the world that we exist in, and that is becoming more and more of a stronghold, choking out free will and free life and free existence. That's going to live, and it's going to be here. Simultaneously, from all the teachings and all the guidance that I've been given, over here is another world. A world where people choose to live in agreement, in arrangement, in cohesiveness, in a way of being where they choose to discuss the equality of life for all manner and purpose, where there is not one set dogma that is above another. That it doesn't matter if you're vegan or vegetarian or omnivore or this or that or the next thing. What it matters is that we are here because we believe in the cohesive knowing that we are here on this planet, on planet Earth, on Gaia, to bring about a great change of mass consciousness, of bringing in the belief system that we are, not just in this moment, but in this moment, and 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 dimensionally, and all the rest of it, whatever you want to label it. But we exist in a multi-dimensional, multi-moment experience. And that what we see here before us has the potential to become something great. Has the potential to evolve into something that has never been seen on this planet before. It's strange, there was a channeling that I brought through a few weeks ago where the message basically said, what is about to happen has never been experienced on planet Earth. Now that made my ears pick up, because in every channeling that's come through me, and every channeling that I've heard before on various things about our planet, there's always been this theme. It's happened before. There is nothing new under our sun. There's new ways of conceiving things. There's new ways of having the experience, but the experiences and all of the workings have all been experienced to some degree or other before. And that's because of our past lives. That's because of our past incarnations. Everybody bringing through that same similarity of beingness, of that consciousness, yes? But what's about to happen has never been experienced before. So I have to think to myself, is 2016 a holding year? A year where energy is being brought to the brink, to the edge, to that teeter point, where it's teeter-tottering. So that in 2017, because 2017 was a year that was given to me by Safita, also known as Adamus or Saint Germain, He gave me the years back on the beach in Tatahi Bay in 2010. He said to myself and my wife Heather, he said, look out for the years of 2012. We all know what happened in 2012. Then he gave us 2015, 2017, 2020, and then 2000. And then he went right out and he said, there's a 10-year gap, 2030. What's going to happen in those years? I'm not 100% sure, but I know just from observing and coming into my consciousness and my awareness that 2016 is a year we need not just to observe and say, oh, what's going to happen next year? Look at America, look at Russia, look at the... No, it's what's happening here. What is happening here for me right now? Because what happens here reflects what happens out there. What happens in America happens because we as individuals do or do not look here. What happens in Europe, in Russia, in England, happens not because some great government goes, oh, there's a magic wand, I'm going to do this, or there's one order, or the one world order decides, boom, 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 boom. It's because the energy that comes from us here has or has not been mediated by ourselves. When we sit back on our laurels and sit back on the chair and go, oh, well, this doesn't really relate to me. This doesn't really mean anything to me. This doesn't include me because I'm not from there, I'm not from there, I'm not from there. Oh, I live just in this little land over here. Who really cares about what I think because I'm on an island in some Pacific Sea or the Atlantic Sea or whatever? Anybody that holds a heartbeat, anybody that has the electromagnetics working through them, through their heart space, through their heart torus, is connected to everything that's going on this planet through the magnetics of our dear Mother Earth. And our connection grounds and holds the potentials of the moving forwards. So I'm going to leave it there. I will come back and I will continue this. These are just my thoughts, my perceptions, my questions. I'd like to hear what your comments are, if you're in agreement or not. I'm unattached because, you see, these are my thoughts. But if I'm having these thoughts, who else is having these thoughts? Who else is thinking this way or in a similar way? It would be interesting to find out. I look forward to seeing and hearing from you.